Making headlines tonight. The National Assembly votes unanimously to amend the constitution to ensure that the nation's top office bearers have only Khmer nationality. The Prime Minister says Cambodia will further strengthen ASEAN's economy while it chairs the regional bloc in 2022. And hotel owners gearing up for a full reopening of the country's borders as they welcome the shortening of quarantine for those fully vaccinated. This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Andrew Barnes-Roberts. The National Assembly has turned out a unanimous vote for the kingdom's constitutional amendments mandating only Khmer nationality for the country's top office bearers. All 111 members of the National Assembly voted in favour of the amendments on Monday morning. The amendments were initiated by Prime Minister Hun Sen in response to false foreign media reports that he held a Cypriot passport. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has our top story.
All voted yes for only Khmer nationality for the President of the Senate, the President of the National Assembly, the Prime Minister, and the President of the Constitutional Council. Monday morning's plenary session of the National Assembly, presided over by National Assembly President Heng Samrin, has approved amendments to constitutional articles 3, 4, and 137. It has also approved the new articles of 19, 82, 106, and 119. All ensure the normal functioning of national institutions as well as demonstrate loyalty to the kingdom and avoid any foreign interference. The move was initiated by Prime Minister Hun Sen on 6 October, following a false report in the British newspaper The Guardian, stating that the Prime Minister held a Cypriot passport. The article has since been corrected, and the paper has expressed regret for any stress it caused. After the amendments were approved on Monday, Prime Minister Hun Sen said the door is closed forever for two nationalities for those wanting to hold top positions, especially the post of Prime Minister. The amendments now move to the Senate, where a two-thirds majority is also needed. A vote there is expected as soon as next week. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
As Cambodia prepares to take over the chairmanship of ASEAN next year, Prime Minister Hun Sen has committed to providing full support and facilitation to achieve even more. He delivered a speech during the closing ceremony of the 2021 ASEAN Business and Investment Summit on Monday afternoon, congratulating Brunei for its successful chairmanship of ASEAN across 2021. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the story. The 2021 ASEAN Business and Investment Summit was joined by ASEAN leaders, dialogue partners, as well as leaders from other countries outside the bloc. Prime Minister Hun Sen expressed his high appreciation for the achievements made under the chairmanship of Brunei in 2021. In 2022, it's the turn of Cambodia. The Prime Minister says Cambodia will continue to enhance the ASEAN economic community, further bolster trade and investment, and strengthen cooperation between ASEAN and its partners, all with the aim of restoring growth and transforming ASEAN into a region of peace, resilience, and development. In his closing remarks, Prime Minister Hun Sen highlighted the impact of the pandemic on the development of ASEAN as a whole, but he stressed that the global economy is expected to recover over the balance of 2021 and throughout 2022. He says accelerating regional and global integration must be one of the top priorities in supporting the post-pandemic recovery and sustainable socio-economic development. He's encouraged ASEAN members to continue to adhere to multilateralism, strengthen globalization, and strive to advance the regional integration agenda in line with ASEAN Vision 2025, aimed at strengthening greater connectivity.
Taking these opportunities, I would like to highlight the roles that private sectors can play so as to contribute to achieving the priority works and work plan of ASEAN 2022 as follows. First, seizing full benefits of the existing ASEAN Free Trade Agreement, especially RCEP that is planned to enter into force in early 2022 to boost trade and investment activities, particularly foreign direct investment, so as to create jobs, increase income for our people, and stimulate economic growth. Second, contributing to human resource development through the transfers of technologies, knowledge and know-how, particularly the development of digital skills, as well as the enhancement of science, technologies, and innovation through collaboration with business and direct investment from abroad, which would contribute to narrowing the digital gap and developing digital economy in the region. Third, heightening collaboration between public and private sectors, especially through public-private partnership mechanism, aimed at mobilizing financial resources for the development and implementation of various initiatives, as well as for fulfilling the financial needs for sustainable socio-economic recovery.
The Prime Minister says the pandemic has provided important experience and lessons that must be considered and incorporated into policy and reform agendas at both national and regional levels across the bloc. Hoteliers are gearing up for a full reopening of the country's borders to fully vaccinated travellers and have welcomed the interim step of shortening quarantine periods. Last week, the royal government announced that fully vaccinated tourists would only need to quarantine for between 3 and 7 days, depending on their status. And just over the weekend, bans on incoming flights from some countries were lifted. While Cambodia has not yet started to feel the effects of a tourism revival, EAC News asked one Phnom Penh hotel manager what the industry thinks about the changes. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko compiled this report.
In recent days, Cambodia, along with other ASEAN countries, has taken huge strides towards the reopening of its borders. Thailand will open its borders on 1st November to fully vaccinated travelers quarantine-free for a whole list of countries, including Cambodia. Prime Minister Hun Sen wants the kingdom to reciprocate as soon as possible. Government also lifted its ban on flights with immediate effect from Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia, a ban that was imposed 15 months ago. While the region gets its flight schedule organized, Cambodia's hotel industry is already preparing to welcome new visitors. EAC News sat down with Baitong Hotel's general manager, Frank Guglielmo. He says government's decision to shorten quarantine periods is a great step.
I think it's a good sign, it's a good first step. Let's see in the next future, in the next few weeks, few months, if you see some real difference and improvement in terms of traffic in the country. Hopefully, all the countries around in Southeast Asia will go in the same direction, so we can see some people from the country around and see a real change. Time will tell.
He says an increase in tourists is all down to the airlines.
It will depend on the airlines company and the countries around, what they decide to do. But what I think, tourists are really eager to travel now. Since almost 2 years, they are staying in their own country and they are really excited, I think, to come back or to come for the first time in this beautiful country of Cambodia. So let's be positive, optimistic, and get ready to welcome all of them.
Fully vaccinated tourists arriving in Cambodia now need to spend only 7 days in quarantine. And if they wish to book their quarantine ahead of time, they also have 2 additional hotels to choose from: Olympia City and Tokyo Inn. Himawari and Raffles Hotel Royal were also recently added to the list of so-called alternative state quarantine hotels in Phnom Penh. Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
Cambodia's daily COVID-19 figures remain at levels not seen for over 6 months. The daily death toll also appears to be stabilizing and falling. On Monday, the Health Ministry confirmed just 116 new COVID-19 cases by way of PCR tests. That number has not been that low since 113 cases were reported back on the 8th of April. 9 more deaths have been reported overnight, though. There have been 287 patients discharged in the past 24 hours, taking the number of active cases down to just 1,874. The latest stats take the kingdom's total COVID-19 case count to 117,888. The death toll has reached 2,743. The number of patients treated successfully has climbed to 113,264. The kingdom's vaccination campaign remains well on track. Vaccinations for children aged 6 to 11 have reached a full 100%. 90% of those in the 12 to 17-year age group have received both their shots, while the Cambodian Army Medical Corps has vaccinated more than 460,000 adults with their booster shots over the past 2 weeks. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the details.
On Saturday, 124,800 doses of Sinovac arrived in the kingdom through the COVAX facility. They bring to 2.5 million the number of vaccine doses Cambodia has already received through COVAX, with a further 4 million expected over the next few months. The new doses will speed up the vaccination campaign in the country even more, with 85% of the total population already fully vaccinated. All 1.9 million children in the 6 to 11 age group have now been fully vaccinated. The booster shot campaign for adults in 11 of 14 districts in Phnom Penh is also achieving good results. According to the Chief of Vaccination at the Ministry of National Defense, General It Sarat, the third dose campaign is progressing well. Since 11 of October, when the campaign started, 460,000 adults have come forward for a third shot. The 3 remaining districts of Phnom Penh will start their booster rollout on Saturday. The general has called on everyone to make sure they get their booster shot in order to help protect themselves against the stronger strains of COVID-19, especially the Delta variant. The Ministry of Health has announced that on the 9 deaths reported since Sunday, 7 were unvaccinated. Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
The World Health Organization in the Western Pacific region has once again lauded Cambodia for its vaccination campaign. The statement came as the WHO began its 5-day regional meeting, largely hosted virtually by Japan. WHO Regional Director Dr. Takeshi Kasai has again recalled his conversation with a 108-year-old Cambodian woman who got vaccinated against COVID-19. In his opening remarks on Monday, he says while it has been another unprecedented 12 months, people like Cambodia's centenarian make him optimistic, even though the pandemic continues to devastate the world. EAC News reporter Reo Soko attended Monday's media briefing.
Cambodia is once again taking pride of place in the world's vaccination campaign. 108-year-old Trolik Bli, a Cambodian woman, has inspired many. One of them is WHO Western Pacific Regional Director Dr. Takeshi Kasai. He says has thought often about her and the extraordinary feat of science, logistics, and solidarity, which enabled her to be vaccinated against the virus. Kasai has added that it is incredible to think that Trolik was born before the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918 and was struck by the fact that Trolik's main motivation was concern for the health and protection of the people around her. He has encouraged people to learn the lesson. He says the virus will not disappear, and therefore, we must shift our focus to what it means for the world to live with it.
We're now working with the countries across the Western Pacific to plan for endemic COVID-19 with a focus on protecting the vulnerable and avoiding the red line where health services get overwhelmed. And this requires actions in 5 areas. 1, effective use of vaccines. 2, continued application of public health and social measures. And 3, expanding health system capacity, including home and intermediate care facilities. 4th, early detection targeted response to flare-ups. And 5th, a risk-based approach to border controls.
Dr. Kasai has also said that there is a need to keep improving each country's capacity in surveillance, communications, and contact tracing and monitoring, and of course, continue strengthening health systems with long-term investments geared towards advancing universal health coverage. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Cambodian and Thai police have worked together to detain would-be migrant workers illegally crossing the border into Thailand. 2 police operations netted a total of 64 Cambodians attempting to cross the border in a district of Banteay Meanchey. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has that story.
2 operations were led on Sunday by Banteay Meanchey's Provincial Police Commissioner Sid Law in cooperation with Thai Border Police. The first operation was held at 4:30 in the afternoon, with Chamkar Ko police intercepting 32 Cambodians, including 17 women. They were caught attempting to cross the border at the northern point of the Military Disability Center in Techopinon Chat village. The second operation happened at around 10 in the evening, when 32 Cambodian nationals, including 16 women, were nabbed 20 kilometers into Thailand in the district of Ta Praia. Thai police notified the Cambodian authorities, who promptly requested repatriation. The Cambodian nationals remain detained at the Ta Praia police station, pending the legal process. Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thanks for joining us. Now for a look at news making international headlines this Monday, the 25th of October.
A fire has broken out aboard a cargo ship carrying mining chemicals off British Columbia. The Canadian Coast Guard says 16 crew members have been rescued from the MV Zim Kingston, while 5 remained on board to fight the fire. No injuries were reported by Danos Shipping Co., the company that manages the container vessel. A navigation warning was issued overnight by the Canadian government, reporting that the ship was on fire and expelling toxic gas. Overnight, a tug cooled the hull of the ship by spraying it with cold water. Due to the nature of the chemicals on board, applying water directly onto the fire was not an option. 2 fallen containers are now floating in the vicinity of the vessel. 2 of the burning containers are storing hazardous potassium amyxylate. An emergency zone has been set up for 2 nautical miles surrounding the ship.
Europe's most active volcano, Italy's Mount Etna, began erupting in the early hours of Saturday morning, causing havoc for surrounding villages. Flights between Athens and London have had to be cancelled. Footage shows massive plumes of ash and steam rising into the air. The 3,330-meter high volcano has been treating locals to fantastic displays ever since it burst into life back in February, erupting more than 50 times this year. Its last major eruption occurred in 1992. The volcano is situated between the African and Eurasian tectonic plates and generates eruptions of varying degrees. It comes as the volcano on La Palma in the Canary Islands continues to cause chaos for locals with the unstoppable lava tsunamis.
And Russian and Chinese warships are holding their first ever joint patrols in the Pacific Ocean for the sake of maintaining of peace and stability. Russia's defense ministry released a statement on Saturday saying that the exercises between the 2 nations were conducted between the 17th and 23rd of this month. Moscow and Beijing staged several naval cooperation drills in the Sea of Japan earlier in October. They have cultivated closer military and diplomatic ties in recent years at a time when the relations with the West have soared. The naval maneuvers have been closely watched by Japan. A fleet of 10 vessels from China and Russia sailed through the Tuksugari Strait, separating Japan's main island and its northern islands of Hokkaido. The strait is regarded as international waters.
Stay with the Daily Roundup. Coming up after the break, a look at the day's sports news. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, please, please wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the Daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear. As expected, Newcastle's new owners have been quick to boot underperforming manager Steve Bruce, and Barcelona's Ronald Koeman must be wondering if he'll be next to go job hunting. He just can't seem to catch a break, with his side going down 2-1 to Real Madrid in the first Clásico of the season on Sunday. It was the first time post-pandemic Barcelona were playing in front of a capacity crowd at the Nou Camp. 86,442 fans crammed into the stadium, and a defeat was not what they came to see. A sensational strike from defender David Alaba and a late goal from Lucas Vázquez gave Real Madrid the full 3 points. Barcelona did manage to control possession in the first half, but just didn't make enough of it. Ronald Koeman made 3 changes after half-time, but none of it was enough. In the post-match media briefing, there was no hiding for Koeman.
Of course, we are disappointed, all of us, because of the final outcome, and it must be like this. We must be sad and disappointed, but now we have to analyze the match and see what we've done well and what was correct. I think we challenged the team, we were up for it, and we had the support of the crowd until the last minute of the match, and that's it. We don't have time available to stand there idly, no, because on Wednesday we have another match.
The win put Real Madrid top of La Liga with 20 points. Barcelona are languishing in 8th place with just 5 points. Ronald Koeman knows he has to turn things around and fast if he's to keep his job. There have been wild celebrations across Pakistan after Sunday's win over their historic rivals India in the 2020 World Cup in Dubai. India aren't yet out of the World Cup, as this was just a group stage game. But given the scenes on the streets of the capital of Pakistan, you'd be forgiven for thinking Pakistan had won the tournament.
They gather in shopping malls, restaurants and social clubs to watch their captain, Babar Azam, lead from the front to win the game by a full 10 wickets. It's the first time Pakistan have ever beaten India at a World Cup match, and they went crazy in celebration.
The match was superb, so exciting I just can't explain it. The best performance was by Babar Azam. Throughout the game, the players cheered up our hearts. I want to tell the team that the prayers of the entire nation are with you. Keep playing like this. Keep making the nation proud, and especially keep defeating India in the same manner.
Even Prime Minister Imran Khan, himself a former cricketer, got in on the action, tweeting, "Congratulations to the Pakistani team and especially to Babar Azam, who led from the front, as well as the brilliant performance of Rizwan and Shaheen Afridi. The nation is proud of you all." The win puts Pakistan top of Group 2 and India at the bottom. Pakistan next faced New Zealand on Tuesday. India played the Black Caps on Sunday.
The 17th edition of the Cape Epic mountain bike race in South Africa came to an end on Sunday. It's the biggest event of its kind on the African continent and attracted entrants from around the world. But the winners came as no surprise. It's as grueling as the scenery is beautiful. Each of the week stages took the riders through some of South Africa's most stunning towns and mountain passes, all laid out across the winelands of the Western Cape. Frenchmen Jordan Sarrou and Matthew Beers of South Africa finished second behind stage winners Hans Becking and Jose Diaz on Sunday, but it was enough for them to win the 2021 Cape Epic. The 91 Songo Specialized riders became the first men's team to wear the yellow leader jerseys at the start of every stage. The Bulls 2 team of Martin Frey and Simon Stiepjan, who came third in Sunday's final stage, finished second in the overall classification, while Becking and Diaz ended up third. The women's race was dominated by Sina Frey of Switzerland and Austria's Laura Sticher. The 91 Songo Specialized riders won every stage to take the title. Organisers say post-pandemic they expect the 18th edition of the Cape Epic in 2022 to be even bigger. All right, let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather. And finally, moustaches and beards in all shapes and sizes were on show in southern Bavaria this weekend for the annual Beard Olympics and the German Beard Championships. Over 100 contestants had waxed, sprayed and hair-dried to compete with each other in categories such as moustache Dali, whiskers freestyle, or full beard natural with styled upper lip. The Beard Olympics is open to participants from around the world, whereas the German Championship is for German citizens or beard wearers who are members of a German beard club only. Ralf Schultz, the winner in the Moustache Imperial category, is not surprisingly a regular contestant.
I've been wearing my moustache for 7 years now. I've taken part in several championships, and now for the first time I have managed to win first place in a German championship. I have already won first place in southern Germany, and otherwise I was always runner-up, and that makes me very happy today to finally have won first place. My hair is not so good for such a super beard, because mine doesn't grow that fast. There are beards that grow much better, and then you can shape them much better. But I have a weak beard growth, and you just have to take it as it is. It's that simple.
Apart from good hair growth, it's all about shaping and grooming. Incoming president of the East Bavarian Beard and Moustache Club, Christian Feich, says the secret for hold and shape is simple: hairspray, and a hairdryer. No doubt they'll all be hard at work, growing and styling for next year's championships. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News channel. You'll get more breaking news and updates from our website. Head to www.eacnews.asia. You can also search for EAC News on Telegram and at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team in the Daily Roundup tomorrow night at 8. I will see you then.